Hey guys, so a little different type of video today. We got a Ryobi brand pressure washer with a Honda engine, GCV160, 2800 PSI. I don't think this is really old, probably within 10 years I would say. Seems to be in pretty good shape, appears to be complete. This was given to me. Said it had old gas in it and it wouldn't start. Let's see how much gas is in it. Yeah, it's got a little bit of gas in it. I honestly don't smell it old. May not take too much to get it going. Hopefully the pump part's good. I don't know if this was left outside or inside or what. At least we can get it running. And so let's just see what happens. Let's just try to start it. I've been asked before, does it hurt the pump on a pressure washer to run it without the water hooked up? And short answer is yes, long answer is no, because it's not going to hurt for just a few minutes in case you got to work on the engine like this. I don't let it run more than 2 to 5 minutes at the absolute max with that water hooked up. Now we get the switch on, choke, pretty sure the fuel's on like this. We'll go about 3 or 4 pulls, and if it don't do nothing, we'll try to get going with a little carburetor cleaner. Alright, so it's not even trying. A lot of times it don't take much to get something like this going, because it could be just a little bit of fuel gummed up on the jet or emulsion tube. And you can't get quite enough vacuum for it to clear itself out. It's really a problem with engines without a choke on them. A lot of times you can just get it running, like on carburetor cleaner or even starting fluid, and just keep it running like that for a little bit with the choke on, and it will eventually clear itself out from the extra vacuum from it running. May not be the case today, but it will run. If I can keep it going. It's not going to be the case today, so we're going to have to drop the bowl off the carburetor and clean everything. May have just made it worse trying to do that. Sometimes it clears itself out, other times it won't. So I'm going to try just to drop the bowl, the carburetor, and flush it out and get an idea of what's going on. You will have gas come out whenever you do this. Oh, there's some fuel. That's the old gas there. Let's just try to flush it out a little bit and see if once the fresh gas gets in there, see how yellow it is. Let me go ahead and pour a little fresh gas in there. Sometimes that's all you need to do. It's starting to smell better now, but we'll go and put some fresh in there. Alright, get some fresh gas in it. Let's let it flow just a little bit. Oh yeah, it'll run on that. Try this first, just in case maybe there's a little bit of water or something there in the bowl keeping it from taking off. Or just that old gas sitting there. Glad we got fuel flow, that's a plus. Yeah, it's not even trying, so we're going to have to take the carburetor off and clean it. Alright, fuel valve's off. We'll drain the fuel out of the bowl. I'm going to try to do a quick clean on this just to see if we can get it going or not. Take this nut all the way out. Bolt. Check that gasket, make sure it still looks good. Pop the bowl off. Now, see the tube coming down right here, that's where the jet's at. So I'm going to take the straw, just to get it centered, and spray up through it until I can hear it coming out of the carburetor. Most of the time that's all you need to do. Now I got to clean the bowl. Let's see what the bowl looks like. Yeah, the bowl was not too bad, so as soon as I sprayed you could hear it like pop. spraying out, trust me. But that's really, most of the time, that's all you gotta do is clean out that emulsion tube and that jet, and it'll take off running. On some carburetors, not this one, the actual nut picks up the fuel, like the fuel goes through it, and a lot of times that little passage will get cleared up, clogged up in it. You gotta clean that up, but that's not the case on this one. Alright, get the bowl back on. Turn the choke off since there's still carburetor cleaner in the body of the carburetor. It'll probably take off at least on that, and whether it keeps running or not, I don't know. Might do a complete carburetor clean. That's just always the first thing to try. It's only running the smoothest with just a partial choke. So the carburetor's still probably partially gummed up. Alright, so it still ain't clearing up as you've seen. It only wants to run with partial choke, and you get by in a temporary. You could get by with doing that for a while, but it'll be annoying after a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it apart and fix it right. It's either more than likely just a passage or a jet clogged up, making it run too lean. So hopefully we can figure it out, because you know it's going to be annoying trying to run something, messing with the choke all the time, getting it right in the sweet spot to keep it running. So let's just fix it right and be done with it. So we'll get this off and we'll look at how the carburetor's set up. It could also be like a torn gasket on the back side of the carburetor, or something not sealing. There's several different things that can cause a lean issue. These bolts go all the way through the carburetor. Got a strange setup on this. Oh, something just fell out. There's one of the gaskets. Looks alright. Just got to put it back in place. So, let's figure out what's going on. Yeah, what's going on? There's a vacuum line hooked on there. Really handy having a fuel valve on this. Pop the fuel line off. Just have a residual amount come off. And remember, your carburetor will have gas in it, too. Set it up like that so it don't keep running out. This line right here is your crankcase breather. It hooks into this little tube right here. I'm showing you all this because I probably won't show it putting it back together. We're just going to show the actual fix on the carburetor. So this is your choke linkage. It runs over here to the choke plate. So you just got to tilt the whole carburetor like this. You get the linkage out. Same deal over here with the throttle. You notice there's a small wire, which is a spring on the linkage. It runs all the way over here to the governor arm. That's where it ties in there. This is your governor spring down here. It comes up to the tab on that plate right there. It's a preset throttle. There's no throttle control. Alright, let me get this off and we'll look at it. It's also got out a fuel filter I'm going to add on inline right before the carburetor, because I don't trust the little strainers in these tanks. And that could have been the problem too. Could have been sometimes they'll deteriorate and allow a particle to come through and clog up something. So just a little preventive maintenance. So we got the bowl off the carburetor again. The gasket's like staying on the top of it, so you got to be careful with that. I don't have another one for it. We're just trying to do a cleaning. So I sprayed carburetor cleaner up through this tube here into the jet before, and that got it running for the most part, but we probably still have a partial blockage somewhere. So we'll take the float out. Usually it's on the idle side, and I'm going to assume on this you take the screw out to get to that passage to clean the idle circuit up. But we'll just have to see here, see how it's set up. I'm not going to go into an extreme amount of detail on this. I'm going to remove the jet using a jet tool. It's So a regular screwdriver fitted in this case. I don't usually like to do that because it's easy to strip them out. So this is your actual jet, and this is what was originally clogged up. You should be able to see light through the little hole in there. And this is also what I'll probably drill out a little bit if I can find a bit. It's just a size bigger than the hole. And here's part of the problem too. The emulsion tube appears to have a couple clogged holes. You can see where it's gummed up here at the top. This piece needs cleaned out really good too. And just spray up through the tube up here and it'll come out in here. Always have safety glasses on whenever you're spraying a carburetor. You do not want to get carburetor clean in your eye. Yep, that's the idle passage port. If you look in there, it might be kind of hard to see. If you see that brass color piece, that's the idle circuit. So you need to spray that out and that'll clean up the idle passage, which is probably what the problem is. Alright, so I took this little miniature drill bit. It's probably the next size and drilled this jet like this. And this does the same thing as like on your old carburetors where you had a adjustment screw. It'd be like turn it, open it up just a little bit to get it to run a little bit richer. Problem is, I might have took it too far. We'll find out. Also wanted to note, well, also I sprayed that out after I drilled it, so there's no shavings. This is your like emulsion tube. The long end goes in first, and the only reason I know that because it fell out before I could see how it goes. Is it's got like it's actually a nozzle is what they call this. I always refer to it as emulsion tube, but usually emulsion tube is like the whole piece of the carburetor. But you see this one end here, that's kind of like how the fuel comes out from the vacuum. This end's flat, and if you look on the end of the jet, it matches up to this end because this end's a little bit smaller. So I know this is how it went in like this. So I'm going to put this carburetor together off camera, and we're just going to see what it does. Alright, so I had the fuel filter. I almost started not to, but I think back here would have been a better place for it. And then you got to drain the tank and all that, and this kind of hides it, keep it from getting hit or caught on the hose or something. So I cut out a section that's just the width of that and put it in there with new clamps. But this is where the choke linkage hooks. And the throttle linkage hooks back up there, and that carburetor is pretty much ready to go back on. I wish they made this with studs instead of bolts to go in from the front. That makes it kind of complicated. Alright, let's see what it does now. So the engine's cold. It hasn't been running since I tried it yesterday in the other part of the video. Choke, it's on. Gas is on. Don't see no leaks. I'll go ahead and turn the choke off because it's probably running too rich now. I think we got it now, guys. Now it should start without choke. That smoke you're seeing is from the Marvel Mystery Oil I put in it. I put a little too much in it. Just trying to clean it out, so that'll clear up after the first tank of gas has ran out of it. It does smell a little bit richer than it normally would have. Again, it's because I cleaned that jet out, and I may not have had to do that. I would recommend trying to do the cleaning without doing that. I just know how these engines are, and in the past I've had to do that before too. So you see me try to idle it down, and it idled down and it wouldn't do that before. So it will be using more gas than it did before now. But it's running. Let's hook it up to water and make sure it works again. Alright, we get the water on. I already got the air out of it. Alright guys, I think we got it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.